love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening and welcome to round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series from Charlotte, North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina, might be South Carolina, but we're in Charlotte anyway. And obviously, round 4, there's lots happening. We're going to take a look at the series standings shortly, but the boys are in warm-up going to qualifying very, very shortly as we take a look at Adam Malone on screen there at the moment, getting his act sorted out, getting used to how the car runs and feels, etc. Good day to everybody that's out there, including our sponsors, Inside Lane Productions, who are pushing the buttons for us tonight and streaming this through Quasi Esports, and Everything Simulated. Shannon Wright and the boys have come on board as series sponsors, and they'll be providing some prizes at the end of the series. The drivers have been made aware of what they are, and very, very happy to receive them. Gives them something more to shoot for rather than just bragging rights. Yeah, everything's looking great, and we also have a new advertisement for Team Watson Racing, and we're going to be seeing that at some point tonight. I think we may have just seen it in the intro before we went live, but good luck to all our drivers out there tonight, and we're going to go to qualifying very, very shortly. The series point standings at this stage after 3 rounds. Troy Davidson leads the series on 115 points. Gary Wellman, 104 in second place. Adam Malone, who was unfortunate last week with a technical issue, and he sits third with 97 points. Andy Barber on 96. Tony Roffey on 92. Jamie Nankervis, 92. Tristan Koch, 87. Craig Roffey, 81. Wade Sheedy, 61. And Matthew Beale sneaks into the top 10 on 60 points. So that's our top 10 for the series there. And those guys, well, Adam Malone will certainly be on a mission tonight. He led about 22 laps last week and then had a technical issue, and iRacing booted him with packet loss. So very, very unfortunate for Adam. So he'll be on an absolute mission tonight to retrieve some points and get himself back up to the pointy end. He was leading the series when that happened. Craig Roffey will be on a mission tonight. He's going to want some points, and he's going to be wanting to get up a few spots in the championship. So we should see some fantastic racing here tonight. Tyre wear's a little bit heavier here. Fuel is 70%. They have 3 sets of tyres, one for the starter set and then 2 tyre changes throughout the 120-lap race. So a 1.5 mile oval, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the boys can do with this. A couple of incidents last week and been brought up with the drivers, and it's been pointed out what things went wrong last week and asked not to do it again. So there will be no attempting to pit from the inside lane as there was last. Well, you've got to do it from the inside lane. Can't do it from the middle of the track or the outside. And all drivers have been asked to be a little more aware when exiting the pits to make sure they know where the pack is after we had that incident last week where we had Chris Hoffman actually leaving the pits not aware at all that the entire pack was coming down on top of him, and caused a very unpopular thing to happen. So some of the boys were not very happy about that move, and he'll be on a mission tonight as well, because he's been wanting to keep it pretty clean out there. The penalties were handed out, and Chris was actually placed on a week's probation, which means he's got to keep it clean as possible tonight. He doesn't necessarily have to have 0 X's or anything like that. Anything normal, as long as it doesn't cause incidents, is fine. And he's been made fully aware of that. So we'll see how that handles how he handles things tonight. Just taking a look, one of the SRM cars, I believe that might be Noddy Tompkins. Noddy Holder, he's the lead singer for the band Slade, sorry. So that's Noddy out there in the 119. And we've got some times rolling in at the moment. Kate Donnelly on a 30.379. Craig Roffey right behind him on a 30.380. 1/100th of a second difference. That's pretty close. You're not going to get a whole lot closer than that. Richie Sanchez from the United States sitting third on the timesheets at the moment, with Nigel Payton, Troy Davidson, our series leader at the moment, Rick Vincent, who was missing last week, had a family commitment, Gary Wellman, Todd Maxfield, Perry Anastakis, who had a rough first round last week and was an innocent victim of a couple of other situations. And Matthew Beale sitting in the top 10, but Matty's just been pushed back as we see the positions. Andy Barber got himself up to 6th place there, and that's pushed Matty Beale back to about 11th place. So Andy Barber, 30.490. So we've got some good times coming through there at Charlotte. And we have less than a minute of qualifying to go, and we will see the boys grid up. But this is Steve Hoppert in the commentary box, and I've got Kobe Jordan pushing the buttons from Inside Lane Productions. And this is, if you've just joined us, round 4 from Charlotte of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series. Brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Everything Simulated, and streamed through Quasi Esports. And, we're going to go to a quick ad now while we wrap up qualifying, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, round 4 from Charlotte, and brought to you by Inside Lane Productions, Everything Simulated, and streamed through Quasi Esports. As we take a look at the grid, and on row 1 we've got Kate Donnelly with a 30.379, and alongside him Craig Roffey with a similar time. Richie Sanchez and Adam Malone make up row 2. Row 3, is Nigel Payton and Troy Davidson. And two different teams sitting on row 3. Row 4, Andy Barber and Rick Vincent. So we've got a big combination of teams on the rows here. Gary Wellman and Todd Maxfield from the same team make up row 5. They're both from Simboys. Perry Anastakis and Matthew Beale on row 6. Row 7, Peter Matson and Aidan Schultz. Row 8, Tony Roffey and James Watson. Row 9 is Troy Mortensen and Phil Butler. Row 10, Paul Drady and Scott Lefebvre. Row 11, Jamie Nankervis and Jared Williams. Row 12, Tristan Koch and Matty Raymond. Row 13 is Noddy Tompkins taking up the back of the field. We got Brett Campbell and Greg Shelton on row 14 who decided not to qualify, and Derek Jacobs at the back. So those few guys at the back there not opting to not qualify. They're going to look at start at the back and see what unfolds and decide how they're going to run their race from that point. But we see Cade Donnelly and Craig Roffey will lead the field away when that truck pulls off. And we will get things underway here very, very shortly. Adam Malone warming things up there in the background. And he's got Richie Sanchez on the inside lane next to him in row 2. As they follow the iRacing pace truck around towards the tri-oval and the pit entry, the truck will pull off into the pits, and Cade Donnelly will control the field to the green. The start is on green. And here we go. Cade Donnelly controls the field now from Simboys Racing with Craig Roffey from Rogue Motorsport right next to him. And we are go. An entire field of, I think that was about 26, 27 starters. And this is going to be some fantastic racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. As Cade Donnelly opens up a bit of a lead there, moves to the outside. Richie Sanchez has absolutely had a stunner and moved himself up to second, but Craig Roffey moves to the inside, side by side with Richie Sanchez as he takes that second position back. They're running very close now. Craig Roffey wanting to move up in between and sit in behind Cade Donnelly, but Richie was closing the door there. They were just a little bit too close and thought things were going to happen. Adam Malone sits back in 4th position, and he's watching what's going to happen here. And Craig Roffey side by side with Cade Donnelly as they battle for the front position with Richie Sanchez in behind them. And I can see Andy Barber moving up. Actually that's Troy Davidson. Pulling up alongside Adam Malone from Southern Stars Racing. And you've still got Cade Donnelly in the lead. Craig Roffey not lucky enough to take that lead away. And he's battling for second with Richie Sanchez in that red and black Mustang. Oh, a little bit of contact. Roffey and Sanchez come together. And Roffey gets a little bit of the wiggles up there, but manages to catch it. A very, very brave move. A fairly desperate move this early in the race, I would have thought, to be honest. And he gets a bit of a tap there from Richie Sanchez as a little bit of a payback to say, hey, I'm in this too. And Roffey loses a bunch of spots and drops back through the field. As Sanchez now, I believe, takes the lead. As he's fighting, Cade Donnelly still continues to lead this. Richie Sanchez almost side by side, but challenging for the lead with Cade Donnelly. And we've got Troy Davidson and Adam Malone sitting in behind them, with Todd Maxfield and Matthew Beale sitting up there in the top 6. Oh, sorry, folks, got to grab a drink of water sometime. Now we've got some nice clean racing going at the moment. A little bit of push and shove, but Rubbin's racing, folks. Don't mind that sort of stuff. If you don't make contact with somebody, you're not driving hard enough, basically. And Richie Sanchez, I think he's got his nose in front, but Cade Donnelly comes back again. So we've got a constant swap back and forward at the front there for the first and second positions with Adam Malone, Troy Davidson, Matthew Beale and Todd Maxfield sitting in behind that. Rick Vincent's buying a ticket into this as well. And I see Aidan Schulz, who, as expected, is marching towards the front, even though he said his strategy was actually going to be to start at the back until the last 10 laps. Can you believe that? I knew the guy couldn't sit still for long enough to do that. As Aidan actually moves up, so here in the number 52 Napa Auto Parts car, and he's actually sitting in the top 8 at the moment. And he's got Nigel Payton on the outside. So anything that comes from the Aidan Schulz camp, it's like watching television watching the news on TV. You just can't believe everything you hear. So as Richie Sanchez takes the lead away, and he's actually got Troy Davison on the inside and Cade Donnelly on the outside line right behind him. And he's leading this one at the moment right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, brought to you through Quasi Esports and sponsored by Everything Simulated and Inside Lane Productions. As we keep an eye on this battle at the front there, Troy Davidson up alongside Richie, and he's going to battle him for the lead. I think Troy might have his nose in front. Yes, he's taken the lead, but not by much. Richie's going to fight his way back through there, and Matthew Beale up into third position, side by side almost with Cade Donnelly. So Matty Beale, a slightly different livery this week. He's normally got the huge gold numbers on the side of that car, which is very difficult to miss, very easy to spot. But he's running a normal Player One Sim Gear race team livery this week, with no NASCAR style numbers on the side. As we take a look at, we've got James Watson in the number 39 car, who's new to the series this week. Perry Aristarchus, who's his second week in. There's Troy Mortensen in there as well. Tony Roffey and Brett Campbell in the Toy Story livery. Woody Racing. So they're all doing what they can at the moment. A few of those guys actually started at the front, at the rear, opting not to qualify and finding a way to move through the field at the moment. They've picked up a few spots. As Richie Sanchez takes the lead back and opens up about a one-car space between himself and both Cade Donnelly and Troy Davison, who are sitting equal second at the moment. Matty Beale back to about third, but he's battling side by side with Adam Malone. And this is a hell of a fight here at the front, people. We've got Aidan Schulz, who's up on the inside line, with Todd Maxfield on the outside, looking for a way through past Adam Malone. So that puts 3 Sim boys in the top 4 or 5 cars. Gary Wellman sitting a few spots back. We see Phil Butler in the Cobra back there, just inside the top 10 at the moment. As we take a look at the top 10, Richie Sanchez leads from Troy Davidson, Cade Donnelly, Adam Malone, Matthew Beale, Todd Maxfield. The positions are swapping back and forward at this point, but Cade Donnelly's dropped back a couple of spots. Matty Beale, Rick Vincent, Aidan Schulz, Nigel Payton, and rounding out the top 10 is Craig Roffey. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute, pay some bills. Stick around.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway as we take in round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, streaming through Quasi Esports and proudly brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Everything Simulated. As we are on lap 16 just clicked over. I think we're about to go to lap 17, and nothing's happened while we're on that. Just some great racing at the front there as Adam Malone sits up in second behind Richie Sanchez with Troy Davidson, Todd Maxfield and Cade Donnelly, who must have had got a little bit loose or something, has washed off some momentum, and he's back in back to 6th place now with Rick Vincent moving up. And these positions are fairly fluid at the moment because we're basically in a pack, and the guys are pushing as they pass each other, and then the position taken back by the other guy, and that's all just part of great racing. As we see Troy Davidson up to second, Adam Malone's doing a little bit of blinking, so let's hope he doesn't have an issue like he had last week. As Cade Donnelly sits on the inside line with his teammate Todd Maxfield on the outside, and behind them Rick Vincent and Perry Anastakis, both from the road team. So Perry's moved right up through the field there at the moment. Matty Beale's dropped back a couple of spots, and he's sitting in behind Rick Vincent on the outside there at the moment. So we've got some fantastic racing here at the moment. We have been under green for 19 laps, and it's going to be interesting to see where the boys will need to start looking at tyres and fuel. I'm guessing around about lap 30 we should see some people coming in. If we're still under green at that point, we should start getting our first round of green flag pit stops. It was reported during practice that 17%, I think it was, it was about 21% over about 17 laps or something around here on a set of tyres. So that brought it down to, I think it was 70-something% when it was mentioned to us. And that was while we were in practice before the broadcast. So going by that, I'd say we're probably around about 10 to 12 laps before we start seeing people come in. Depends how hard these guys are driving the cars. And at the moment, they're driving them pretty hard because nobody's wanting anybody to get away from them. And they are pretty much running 2 by 2 here at the moment. It's almost like a super speedway, as we see Troy Davidson and Richie Sanchez side by side. And behind them, Adam Malone on the outside, Cade Donnelly on the inside. And Perry Anastakis has actually moved up a spot, and he's got his nose in front of Todd Maxfield now, with Rick Vincent sitting in behind Maxfield, Aidan Schulz, who's sitting in behind Perry Anastakis on the lower line, on that inside lane. But as I said, we appear to be green at the moment. Nobody's had an incident. We don't appear to be missing anybody. And a long way to go. 23 out of 120 laps. Aidan Schulz off onto the apron there, trying to avoid whatever was going on there in the middle of the field. And Gary Wellman uncharacteristically hanging back a little at the moment. Normally see Gary pushing for a position up inside the top 3 or 5, or even challenging for the lead, but he's not doing that at the moment. So he obviously has made his mind up how he wants to run his race. And no real major positional changes here at the moment, as we continue to see Richie Sanchez leading from Troy Davidson, Adam Malone, Cade Donnelly back up into 4th, and Todd Maxfield in 5th on lap 24 of 120 at Charlotte. And as you can see on screen, the boys running this in 2 lines. Normally by this stage of the race, things have started to thin out a little bit, and you see a bit of single file running as the leaders start to break away from the pack. But we are still running pretty much in a single pack for the entire field at the moment. And as we take a look back through a couple of spots, Andy J. Barber sitting back there in front of Phil Butler, Brett Campbell in behind him, Gary Wellman on the inside of those. And there's Craig Roffey on the outside in front of the number 20 car of Andy Barber. And he's got a good view of the rear end of the number 90, which is Nigel Payton. And he's running a fairly comfortable race at the moment around the outside. James Watson, first week in the series, running around the inside there, comfortably in the top 10. So he'll be pretty pleased with that at the moment. But a long way to go. And a lot of these guys are experienced enough to know that there is a long way to go. So with lap 27 of 120 out of the way, the number 173 car of 173, that's Peter Matson, I believe. He's got a different livery on tonight. He's running the Orbic livery. Normally runs the orange and green GSRC livery, but it's still a GSRC livery, just different colour, different sponsor this week. He's running Orbic on the car. So great to see Pete there. Pete's usually challenges at the front, and he's getting a good run in at the moment. And Perry Anasakis, like I said, had a rough week last week. He's sitting in about 6th place at the moment, side by side with his teammate. He's actually just sitting in behind Matty Boyle, who is next to his teammate Rick Vincent. That's Perry Anastakis' teammate with Rogue Motorsport. As they're flying the flag for the Rogue team at the moment, the next Rogue car back, I think, is Craig Roffey. And just seeing Adam Malone giving Rick Sanchez a bit of a hurry up as Rick continues to lead this with Troy Davidson in second, Adam Malone, Kate Donnelly and Todd Maxfield. So we see 3 Simboys cars in the top 5, and then Matty Beale wanting a slice of this pie as well as the boys come ripping through turns 3 and 4 and up the back straight. Sorry, that's turns 1 and 2 and up the back straight. And around through there, and we will go back onto the tri-oval at the moment. And that's lap 30. So if we stay green, I'm expecting to see some green flag pit stops begin very, very shortly in the next few laps. I'm thinking the fuel load's probably going to be somewhere in the high 30s. And with the field bunched up like this, of course, the guys mid-pack and beyond are probably going to use a little bit less fuel than the guys at the front who are battling it out. And we'll have to see how that actually affects them. But tyre wear is probably going to be the big clincher here. As soon as the boys start to feel a bit uncomfortable with the way the car is coming through those turns, probably going to see some people coming in for a set of tyres. But they've got 2 more sets after the one they're on, and they've got about nearly 90 laps to go. So I would say they'll probably hang on a bit longer for tyres. Might even start running double stints. The tyre wear may also not be as bad as what was reported earlier on. So we'll have to wait and see and talk to somebody about it later on to see how things are actually going as far as the tyre wear is concerned. But unfortunately, in iRacing, you've got to pit before you find out how much tyre wear you have. You pit, leave the pits, and it'll tell you what the wear rate is. Unfortunately, there's no live data on that information. As Troy Davidson now leads this from Cade Donnelly. Richie Sanchez has dropped back a couple of spots. Matty Beale making his presence known on the inside. Adam Malone on the outside. Nigel Payton gives the wall a quick rub. Just enough to get a little bit of smoke, and he got loose but gathered it up again. Didn't appear to lose a whole lot of momentum, which was good for Craig Roffey in behind him. When somebody does that in front of you, it really is a bit of a heart stopper, and you wonder where they're going to go and how they're going to react to the contact. But no issues there whatsoever. We are still green on lap 34 of 120, about to click over onto 35, which is what we've done, as Troy Davidson leads this from Cade Donnelly, Richie Sanchez, Matthew Beale up to 4th position, and Perry Anastakis in 5th at this time. We're going to go to an ad break, pay some bills, and fulfill some commitments, and hopefully we'll stay green while we're there. Stick around, come back in a minute. And welcome back to round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series, streamed through Quasi Esports and brought to you by Everything Simulated and Inside Lane Productions. And I've got to say a shout out to the owner of Everything Simulated, who normally races in this series, and that is Shannon Wright. He's in the socials at the moment, in the YouTube live chat. G'day, Shannon. Thanks for watching. And he's obviously cheering on the Everything Simulated boys as we take a look at, I think we've got, that might be Jamie Nankervis that we had on screen there, just making his way around the series. No, it's actually number 96. So, as we look at number 17, the SRM car of Matthew Raymond, and Matty's first round tonight in the series, started 22nd, currently up to 18th position. And there's, I think, Scott Lefevre further back in the field than another Everything Simulated vehicle. And if you enjoy these, and a lot of people do, go and buy the viewer numbers on the videos on Quasi Esports, why don't you subscribe and turn on your notifications? Subscribe, turn on the notifications. You'll never miss anything when we get a new live stream or a video go to air or get added to the channel. And you'll always be up to date with what's going on through the Quasi Esports YouTube channel with the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Series, as well as my own racing and things like that. Not racing at the moment, worrying about admin and commentary. And that's what we're here for at the moment, as we see Perry Anastakis move his way to the front. He's got his nose in front of Cade Donnelly, but they're battling back and forward, and Cade takes that position back. Perry drops back to 2nd place in the 144 road car. And then Matthew Beale sitting in 3rd place with Troy Davidson and Adam Malone as your top 5 at the moment. We are still green, lap 43 of 120, and I believe there's been at least 1 or 2 green flag pit stops take place. When we came back from the ad break, I noticed that there was somebody going in or coming out of the pits. They were on the apron, and that's obviously the start of what I was actually talking about earlier, which is the green flag pit stops, possibly tyres, my bet would be Fuel on lap 44, as we see a couple of more cars down on the apron there, making their way out of the pits and rejoining. And so 44 laps under their belts. Some of these guys must be just about running on fumes. As we take a look at Richie Sanchez, who I think has actually taken care of his first pit stop under green and first pit stop for the race. So he'll be fueled up and he'll probably have a fresh set of tyres on and making his way through to catch up with the pack there. But he's in grave danger of going down a spot because he's rejoined in an uncomfortable position with the pack coming down, and they are catching him. Richie's running on his own, so they're going to have the advantage of the draft. But what is playing into Richie's favour is the fact that quite a few of these guys are yet to pit. So even if they pass him and put him a lap down, he'll get that back when they pull their green flag pit stop. And if there is a caution at some point, the first car down a lap will be the lucky dog, and we'll get his lap back as we take a look at Derek Jacobs in the number 27 car. Repeat that. So he's already down a lap, must be because of the green flag pit stop. I'm just being informed. So Richie will be doing all he can to get that back as soon as the chance arises. But at this point, there's not panic stations. A lot of these guys are yet to pit. We're up to lap 47. Those who haven't pitted are getting exceptionally good tyre wear and fuel. But we're going to see some pit stops here shortly, I imagine. Should see a whole rash of people come in. Why we haven't seen those front runners come in as Rick Vincent gives Matthew Beale a little bit of a touch up. And Matty won't appreciate that very much. He's probably got something to say about it. And side by side with Perry Anastakis, and Rick Vincent's really all over the back of Matthew Beale. Matty may be suffering from tyres, which will be annoying Rick Vincent no end if Matt's not able to keep the pace up. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going on. It looks like Matty's trying to get on that inside lane. Yep, so some of these guys might be setting them up for a pit stop very, very shortly as we continue under green on lap 49 of 120, and we've got them in. The leaders are coming in. And Matty Beale, oh my Lord, I don't know whether he locked that up or he got a touch up the rear from Troy Davidson. But Matty Beale has taken the nose off that car entering the pits, and I'm just not sure why. We'll take a look at this and see whether Troy Davidson gave him a little bit of a touch. Matty may have broke a little bit faster than what Troy Davidson was expecting, and there's Troy right up on him, and there's the touch right there with Matty and Troy under brakes, and Matty's taken the nose off that car. That's him done, I'd say. He's going to have quite a lot of damage there, and that is an absolute shame. Matty having an absolute blast tonight and running at the front, top 3, top 5, top 2, I think at one stage. And so that has actually put us under caution on lap 50. And while we've got the chance, we're going to take a quick ad break while the boys get their pit stop sorted out. We'll be back for the restart in just a moment. Stick around. And welcome back. We're live. Sorry, I just got caught a little bit unawares there. I was watching what one of the drivers was doing in their pit stop and wasn't expecting to quite come back so soon. But OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing, and we are in round 4, lap 51. We are under our first caution, and we're just keeping an eye on James Watson at the moment, the number 39 car. That's his first round in the series. James, how's it going out there?
Oh, it's going. It sure is interesting out there. It feels like you're in a next gen at New Atlanta with how close quarters everyone is, how sketchy the cars can get, and having to manage the gaps while really focusing on managing the tire wear too. You know, it's a pack race, but not like a pack race you're used to at Daytona and Talladega. You've got conservation that you really need to be worried about.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I'm quite surprised that they've been running pretty much 2x2. So it's almost a Daytona scenario, the way that the whole field's been running at this point. But it's been a good, clean run for the first 50 laps. How's your tyre wear when you completed that stop? What was it telling you?
Tires were pretty decently worn. A little better than what I was getting in practice. So I'm encouraged what I saw after a full fuel run. So just gotta take the data from that and kind of formulate on what I want to do for this final stop.
Right. So you've got the 50, 51 laps out of a tank so far?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like going to be one stop from here. Now the question is, when do you make that stop, and if you want to focus on getting an undercut or having the overcut work for you, what do you think is going to work best in this scenario?
Yep, no worries at all. Well, I hope you continue to enjoy your first round in the series. James Watson, he started 16th. He's currently up to 12th after that round of pit stops under caution. So in fact, at the moment, I'm seeing that you're in position 2 because of the way that the pit stops have actually rotated the field through.
I win.
Oh, sorry, no, you're up 2 positions. Sorry, pardon me. You're currently 12th. My bad. Didn't want to get you too excited there. But yeah, look, James, continue to enjoy yourself. You're having a nice, clean run. I don't want to jinx you. But hopefully you continue that and continue to enjoy V8 ovals with OzOval V8 Supercars Racing Series, and we'll catch up with you later on. Thanks for the chat.
Cheers, guys.
We'll pop you back down in your channel. And so there we go, talking to James Watson from James Watson Racing, and or Team Watson Racing, pardon me. As we take a look and we see that Rick Vincent and Cade Donnelly at the front. Cade's leading this one, and he's got Todd Maxfield, one of his teammates, sitting right in behind him. Adam Malone still sitting at the front there on the second row, and Aidan Schulz is still sitting up in the front 3 rows at the moment. Lap 53 was still under caution. I expect to go green very shortly. Lights are out on the pace truck. And Cade Donnelly will lead the field away. We see Andy J. Barber about 4 cars back, and I think that's Gary Wellman. So that inside line is all Simboys for the first 3 cars. As Cade takes them away, Rick Vincent with him side by side. Will Cade get a really good start here, or can Rick Vincent take advantage? But they're away, they're under green, they are side by side. Rick's gone with Cade Donnelly. And he's taken Todd Maxfield, Gary Wellman and Andy Barber with him. Rick Vincent on his own out there on the moment of the outside, but Andy J. Barber's just fixed that problem. He's moved up to the outside. And sitting in equal second, back to about third at the moment, Rick Vincent. And better late than never, welcome Brent Aberden to the commentary box. How are you, buddy?
Good evening, Steve. You're very well yourself, mate.
We're doing very well here, mate. We've just had our first caution on lap 50. We're on lap 55 at the moment, and there's been some fantastic racing here. Green flag for 50 laps, and with one or two little exceptions about with green flag pit stops. The field mostly came in under caution on lap 50-51. So that's where we're at the moment, as we see Cade Donnelly continue to lead from Todd Maxfield. He'll be happy to be sitting up there, and he's got Rick Vincent on his outside. And then we go back to Gary Wellman, side by side with Andy Barber, who was last week's winner at Atlanta. Aidan Schulz is sitting third car in that inside lane. As Todd Maxfield moves to the outside in front of Rick Vincent and holds on to second place. Gary Wellman third, Rick Vincent fourth, Aidan Schulz fifth at this point in time. The whole top 10, though, looks like this. Cade Donnelly, Todd Maxfield, Gary Wellman, Rick Vincent, Andy Barber, Aidan Schulz, Adam Malone, Craig Roffey, Peter Matson in that new livery, and Nigel Payton rounds out the top 10. Phil Butler, Tony Roffey, Matt Raymond, James Watson, and Troy Davidson all the way back in 15th after sitting at the pointy end for the first 50 laps of this race. And we've got something happening in there, Brent, at the moment. That was Nigel Payton.
There, yes.
Nigel Payton and Phil Butler coming together.
Nasty little incident there.
So we'll take a look at what's happened here on the replay. There's Phil Butler, and he's just on the outside. He's making an outside move. Yeah, making an outside move on Nigel, and Nigel is just Johnny on the spot when it comes to this sort of stuff. Minding his own business, and Phil Butler gives him a touch-up and puts him sideways and into the wall. So Nigel is going to be wondering what he's done wrong, because something like this happens to him pretty much every week, although this week at least it's taken nearly 60 laps to do it, Brent.
That is correct there, Steve. Unfortunately, like you said, with Nigel, it seems like every race so far for this season he's had some type of incident. But unfortunately, sometimes that's just how racing goes. See how we go with this incident, there we go.
Well, the race review committee will take a look at it afterwards, as we are under caution again. So we'll take a chance to take a quick break. We'll play some ads, pay some bills, and fulfill some commitments. Stick around. We'll be back in just a minute.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
And welcome back to round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing League, streaming through Quasi Esports and proudly brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Everything Simulated. And Everything Simulated, we've got plenty of those guys in here tonight. We've got about, I think, 3 runners tonight from the team. And Shannon Wright, as far as I know, is sitting in the... oh, goodness me, sitting in the live chat, cheering his team on. And good day also to Sarah Kay, who's sitting in the YouTube chat. And she's pretty happy to hear another American accent alongside Derek Jacobs. So obviously she's referring to James Watson, who we interviewed just about 10 laps ago during that first caution period. But we are on our second caution after that incident involving Nigel Payton and Phil Butler, Brent. That was a rough one.
It certainly was, Steve. And I guess I come either at the wrong time or the best time. It was a nice little incident for both involved. Hopefully it's not too much damage and they can get back to the race, but by the looks of it, it was a hard hit for both of them.
Well, we had Matty Beale destroyed his car on the pit entry on our first caution on lap 50. That was it was a green flag stop that turned into a caution when he got a little bit of a tap to the right rear tail light and turned him into the concrete wall and ripped the front off the car. So Matt Beale won't be too impressed with that. He'd been actually running in the top 3 to 5 for quite a big chunk of the race and was having a fantastic effort. He's come a long way over the last year or two, Matty Beale, and he's super competitive in these cars. And we're just taking a look at the field as it lines up behind the truck at the moment. And I believe the lights are out on the pace truck. So Cade Donnelly continues to lead this now. And I think he's got, is that number 96, who is Jay Williams from Everything Simulated. Sorry? Oh, sorry, it's Rick Vincent. Yes, I'm going blind. I didn't look at the number. I looked at the colour of the car, and I thought it was still Cade Donnelly. But my apologies to Rick Vincent and the Rogue team. They are actually leading this. And from Williams, and then Aidan Schulz, Andy Barber, and Peter Matson. That is your top 5 at this point. And I think it's Jared Williams, I think is his first name. I'm just having a seniors moment here, Brent.
Totally understandable, Steve. It happens to us all, I guess, and we all get to that stage in life.
And Rick Vincent controls the field as we get started again, and he's on the pedal. We've got that green flag waving at the start-finish line, and he makes a good start out of that, Rick Vincent. And the guys behind him are side by side. That's Aidan Schulz and Jared Williams. And, Williams has dropped back on that outside line now, and we've got Aidan Schulz and Pete Matson. And they're challenging Rick Vincent for the lead at the moment, Brent.
It's ever since the green light come back on, it's been toe-to-toe racing, side-to-side racing, rather. It's been relatively entertaining, to say the least.
Yep, and I just checked. It is Jared Williams.
So
yeah, I got it right. But last week's most unfortunate driver, Adam Malone, sitting on the outside there behind his teammate Andy J. Barber, and Andy in the red and white Southern Stars car with the identical livery but in green and white on Adam Malone's car. As we take a look at Craig Roffey has moved up now, and Adam Schulz comes together with Rick Vincent. Not quite sure who was actually to blame for that one, but I gather we'll find that out maybe in the long run if a protest is actually lodged. But that's forced Rick right up to the outside as Aidan has now actually taken the lead. And you missed it earlier on. Aidan actually informed the producer that his strategy tonight was to stay at the back until 10 laps to go and then march his way through the field. And he's proved himself to be full of it because he's been running towards the front here for as long as I can remember and fighting his way inside the top 10.
I guess he's changed his strategy at the last moment then, Steve. Well,
I'd say he's changed his strategy as soon as the race started, actually. And he went to hell with it. I'm going for it. That's exactly what he's done. So, but he's now been passed by Peter Matson and Rick Vincent back into the lead of this one from Matson, Williams, Schulz, and Barber. Barbara's up to third now with Matson and Roffey in fourth and fifth. And that's pushed Schulz back to outside the top five. Rick Vincent's opened up a little bit of a lead there over Jared Williams in the everything simulated racing for Valve Motorsport. Valve Esports. And everything simulated, proudly sponsoring this series, providing the trophy tinware at the end of the season, at the completion. So first, second and third will get a podium plaque for their finishing position in the series, and that's all thanks to Everything Simulated. And once again, good day to Shannon Wright, owner of Everything Simulated, sitting in the live chat at the moment in YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, that's pretty much the only place you can watch this, so subscribe and turn on your notifications. In fact, on the channel there is a video instructing on how to do that. So if you're not sure how to do it, how to turn on the notifications, find that video. It's there, and it'll actually help you do it. It's a little bit long-winded, and it goes over quite a few other things as the video goes on, but it's there. Turn on your notifications. You'll get notified every time we're going live or that there's a new video being uploaded to the channel. As we continue on race lap 70 of 120. We've only got 50 to go. We've had two caution periods within 10 laps of one another in the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Round 4 from Charlotte in the US. And we're watching Rick Vincent lead, and side by side now with Craig Roffey. Roffey is absolutely on a mission tonight. He wants another podium. He wants a win because he wants those points. He wants to put himself at the pointy end of the season standings as we go along from this round. And I'm pretty sure that's he's putting himself in a good position for it at the moment, Brent.
You're not wrong, Steve. I think with last week's standings with Roffey, I think his main objective for this race would to be podium, if not pole position. So looks like he's putting up a good fight.
Yeah, he'll be looking for a win after a discussion with Craig, who gets a bit of a push there from Rick Vincent, his teammate, and a little bit of teamwork going on there. I won't say team tactics because there's nothing underhanded going on, but Rick Vincent giving Craig Roffey a little bit of a push, as you do in this style of racing. But Andy Barber is all over the back of Rick Vincent, and he's got his teammate Adam Malone with him in the number 3 green and white car from Mish's Garage, Mish's XL Garage. And the Orbit car, that's Pete Matson. He's going to be the spoiler in all this for these guys. And we've got Aidan Schulz behind him, and side by side with him is the 96 car of Jared Williams. So we continue to continue the racing. It's fantastic racing tonight, Brent. There's been a lot of green flag racing, a lot of side-by-side stuff, and it's just edge of the seat stuff, some of this, as we've got a Rogue 1-2 at the front, side-by-side between Roffey and Vincent, and Matson and Barber in behind them, Schulz and Malone in behind them, and Jared Williams is just reminding everybody he was at the front just a few laps ago, and he wants to be back there again. So consistent, clean racing here, 2x2 as we take a look further back in the field as we see Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman from the Sim Boys. Gary, I don't think, has led a lad at all tonight. Cade Donnelly's led quite a few. But we've got Tony Roffey and Todd Maxfield from Rogue and Sim Boys, respectively. And as you notice, those cars, a little bit of extra artwork on them. And that's they've got Crazy Steve up on the roof and across the panel at the back on the rear of the vehicles. As we go back to the front and watch Rick Vincent and Craig Roffey still leading side by side for the Rogue team with Peter Matson from GSRC Racing and That's Andy Barber on the outside in front of Adam Malone. So we've got two pairs of teammates trying to work together with each other here and get the best possible result for them. Side by side for the Rogue team and nose to tail for Southern Stars. A fair bit of that going on at the moment. Okay, we've seen Phil Butler, who was involved in that last incident on lap 60, or 61, in that Cobra paintwork. He's obviously not copped as much damage as I thought he would. Not seeing Nigel Payton, so I'm guessing Nigel copped a lot of damage out of that one. He was in a similar incident last week very early, but managed to avoid any extensive damage and was able to race on to a third place, I believe. So fantastic run from him last week to come back from that. But I don't think he's actually survived the onslaught this week with somebody in an almost carbon copy situation. And I think Nigel's actually put it behind the wall. I'm not seeing him on track at all. So, Brent, we continue to see the Rogue team leading at the front with Aidan Schulz in the Napa car and Peter Matson in behind him. But the Southern Stars guys on the outside there in the red and white and green and white cars of Andy Barber and Adam Malone, just making sure that those Rogue guys of Roffey and Vincent don't run away with this.
No, you're not wrong there, Steve, and I'm sure their presence is well known for the two up front. Keep looking in the rearview mirror and see them right behind them. Keep the pressure on.
Not a lot of positional changes at the moment. We went through a lot of positional changes before that first caution. Literal side by side, and it was, he's leading, he's next, then he's leading and he's gone back a spot. There was a lot of that in that first 50 laps, but they seem to have settled down a little bit now, and there's not a lot of positional changing at the front of the field as we click over onto lap 81 of 120. So we've got about 40 laps to go in this one, folks. Stick around. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to pay some bills.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
And welcome back. We're at round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series from Charlotte, and streaming through Quasi Esports and proudly brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Everything Simulated. As Shannon Wright actually is wanting to give a shout out to SVG because he won a race in the real world today in the US. And good day to John Simpson and Mick Masters, who have also joined us in the live chat on YouTube. Great to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying the racing, boys. And Sarah Kay has given her expert opinion that it looks like Aiden's new strategy has actually paid off because, as she rightly points out, if he'd have actually stuck to what he was going to do, he would have had his hands full getting through this field because the field has remained pretty much bunched up except for 2 caution periods. And a couple of green flag pit stops before the first caution, then he would have actually had a real challenge to get through this field because, as you can see, we are on lap 88 of 120 and we are bunched up, pack racing 2 by 2. So anybody who would have actually had the strategy to run towards the back except for the last 10 or 20 laps, they would have found it very difficult to get through this tonight. 2 cautions. And the field has pretty much stayed racing each other right throughout. The guy I'm interested in is, I'm not too sure where he is at the moment. I'd love to find out, and that's Rick Sanchez. And now Richie Sanchez from the US was leading this race earlier until he actually needed to do a pit stop. And there's Richie sitting back in the field a bit. Yeah, he's a fair way back in the field, and I think he may actually be a lap down. But I haven't seen the stats on whether he managed to get that lap back in the last couple of cautions. But good to see Richie out there. He was having an absolute blinder, running at the front, challenging for first, second, third, and so on. The green flag pit stop didn't do him any favours, and I'm not really sure. We are now looking to see where he's located as far as that's concerned. And we take a look at Craig Roffey as Brett Campbell comes out of the pits, and we see the Sim boys. They're pitting on lap 91. So this will be their last pit stop, and it'll get them through to the end, Brent.
Interesting strategy by the boys here. All pitting at once, obviously, and I know, see how it pays off, I guess, for them.
Well, what they're doing is they're actually making sure they don't leave the pits on their own. So with the 4 team cars together, they can actually leave the pits together, travel together, use the draft, and get the benefit of that. And obviously now they're expecting to get an undercut when other cars will actually start their green flag pit stops unless we have a caution. But if we have a caution, they've pitted, they shouldn't need to stop, and they should be able to stay out and actually take those front positions. So it's actually a pretty smart move. When you go in on your own and you come out on your own, you've got nobody to work with. And
yeah,
what they've done,
dirty air, that's a good point.
What they've done is 4 cars in, 4 cars out, and they'll take advantage of that with the draft to actually catch up to the pack. They won't be left out on their own. And Brett Campbell will also pitted just about the same time. I think he came out just as they were coming into the pits. And he's actually managed to come out in a pretty decent position, I think. So he's not going to get left too far behind. And as those 4 Sim Boys cars do actually catch the back of the pack, Brett will be able to work with them and get mixed up in the middle of it again. So those 5 guys have actually pitted now. They've done it. That's it. They're finished for the night. They'll race right through to the end for the next 25 laps or so. And if there is an incident, the smart thing to do would be to stay out. You've got your tyres, you've got your fuel, you shouldn't need to actually come back in again. Because obviously they're getting about 50 laps with the fuel, which is a long way beyond what I expected them to get. They're not going to need to pit, even if there's a GWC. There is one single GWC tonight, green, white checker. So if there is an incident and a caution in the last 2 or 3 laps, we will go to green, white checker. And when it goes to a white flag, that will be it. No matter what happens on that white flag lap, it won't go to caution. It'll be the end of the race. So we'll see how things pan out. but with about 25 laps to go, we still see Rick Vincent at the front with Craig Roffey, Aidan Schulz, Andy Barber, Peter Matson, Adam Malone, Jared Williams. Tristan Koch has gotten himself up into the top 10 there, alongside Perry Anastakis, and James Watson is sitting just in behind them as well. So James Watson rounding out the top 10. But yep, Vincent, at the moment it's showing Vincent, Schulz, Roffey, Barber, or Roffey, Vincent, Barber, but those positions will change because they're side-by-side racing. Schulz, Malone, Matson, Williams, Koch, Watson, and Tony Roffey has now snuck up into the top 10, which has pushed James Watson back a spot to 11th. And obviously I was right when I said about the amount of damage to Nigel's car. We've not seen him again. I don't see him on track. And we lost Matty Beale on the first caution on lap 50. So he was right smack in the middle of what it was that brought the yellow flag out. So unfortunate for Matty Beale. He'll just deal with that. He'll come back next week and everything will be fine. And the race review committee will take a look at what needs to be looked at post-race with that. And I don't need to worry about that incident now, Brent.
No, you do not, Steve. And let's hope these remaining 20-odd laps that it's a nice, clean racing.
Yep, I'd like to see it go green and we'll see what we can do with it. But we'll take it as it comes. Tony Roffey in front of Peter Matson, and James Watson's managed to get himself back up into the top 10 in front of those couple of guys. As we see Tristan Koch and Tristo running up in 8th position. He'll be absolutely stoked with that and want to improve upon it as they come out of the tri-oval and back through turn, through turn 1 and into turn 2. And we continue to see Rick Vincent and Roffey at the front with Schulz, Barber, Malone, Williams, Matson. That's about your top 6 or 7 there at the moment. And comment from James Simpson, I think it was. Just going to take a look and make sure I get it right. John Simpson, pardon me, who is from GSRC. And yes, that's a fantastic looking livery there, John. Comment in the YouTube socials and the live chat. If you are in the live chat, well, if you're watching it live, why don't you throw a comment in? And John Simpson's cheering Peter Matson on get that Orbic up there, that Orbic rocket. And Matto having a good run tonight actually, and he usually does. I mean, he has a couple of little things happen along the way sometimes. But he's having a particularly good run at the towards the pointy end tonight, and it'll be interesting to see what he can actually do with it from this point on, Brent. As we take a look at Rick Vincent and Craig Roffey. Roffey actually in front at this point, and then Vincent and Andy Barber is challenging for that second spot, side by side with Vincent on the inside, and Aidan Schulz sitting right up in behind Vincent. And he's waiting for and looking for a way to get past him. And Peter Matson in that Orbic GSRC livery, and he's sitting right in there behind that with around about 17 laps to go. We're on lap 103 of 120 as we see Rick Vincent peel off onto the apron. So he's actually going to pit. But his teammate Roffey's been hung out to dry on the outside of the track there, on that outside line, so he couldn't actually pit. You can't pit from the outside line. You've got to pit from the inside line. And that's basically Vincent coming in on his own there, strangely enough. Nobody else in the field has decided to come in at this point. Very strange. But Roffey's now moved down onto the inside line, and that's put Roffey in front of Barber, in front of Schulz, in front of Malone and Matson, and that's your top 5 at this point. So Peter Matson in every possible way has a chance at a podium here tonight, and I feel Roffey's probably going to pit here somewhere. He's gotten himself on the inside line so that he can actually pit probably see him go in next time around. But Rick Vincent's going to come out on his own at the rear of the field, and green flag pit stop will probably put him down a lap as well, and he won't be too happy about that. He's put in the effort tonight, but unfortunately, cautions have not played himself into his hands the way he would have hoped, Brent. So we'll continue to see Andy Barber challenging Craig Roffey here. They're almost side by side, and the two cars behind them, a couple of Commodores. We got the Mustangs at the front, Commodores on the second row, of Schulz on the inside and Matson on the outside, which obviously means Matson's up to fourth position at this moment. Andy Barber at the front there challenging Craig Roffey. Roffey yet to have his final pit stop, as we see Jared Williams from Everything Simulated Racing and Valve Esports, and he's come in for his final stop with around 13 laps to go. So he'll probably be banking on a GWC, and that other people are yet to pit so that he can actually get a bit of an undercut on some of those guys, because I haven't seen Craig Roffey come in since about lap 61 on that last yellow flag. But he must be getting pretty low on fuel by about now, because if that's the case, then he's actually put around about 47, 48 laps on that tank of fuel, which means he'll be getting pretty close to needing to stop. He's not going to make it to the end from here, I would say, but continues to lead. And Aidan Schulz pushing him all the way, Matson behind him, Andy Barber on the outside. And Andy Barber up alongside Aidan Schulz now and challenging for the second position. As we see the 83 car of Troy Mortensen at Platinum Motorsports, and he leaves the pits after his final stop. And we'll take a quick ad break, pay some bills. As hold off on that. We've got the race leader in. Craig Roffey has decided to come in. Peter Matson's gone with him, and they're making their final stop. And Tony Roffey has come in as well. So that's two of the road cars, and the GSRC Orbic car have now put in for their final pit stop on lap 110. So this has just made things pretty exciting, because Aidan Schulz will inherit the lead with Andy Barber at the front. And this is going to be very interesting to see what those guys do as far as their pit stop's concerned. They must also be getting low on fuel. If Craig Roffey is pitted, then you know that he must have been low on fuel. So if he's low, everybody's low. And you see Matson leading Aidan Schulz side by side with him there, as we see Andy Barber has positioned himself inside with Adam Malone, and they're actually in the pits now. Actually in the pits. The Southern Stars boys are doing their final pit stop with about 9 laps to go. We are going to take a quick break. We'll throw to an ad. We'll be back in just a moment for round 4 and the closing laps of the OzOval V8 Supercars Oval Racing Series from Charlotte. And welcome back to Charlotte, round 4, and we're on lap 113 of 120, and we've got a heap of green flag pit stops happening while we're on ad break, and Peter Matson's rejoined after his stop, and it's going to be very interesting to see what's going on. James Watson also in the pits there at the moment, Brent. And Brent's obviously stepped away for a moment. And we've got Perry Anastakis. He's leaving just in front of James Watson as the field comes around. And you see Brett Campbell there in the Toy Story livery. He won't need to pit because he pitted just before the 4 Sim Boys cars. And just taking a look to see where they are at the moment. And we've got Wellman, Maxfield, Davison and Donnelly. Those 4 cars are pitted together from Sim Boys. They're sitting 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th at the moment. And here comes, I think, Steve Lefebvre, and he's actually doing his final stop from Everything Simulated Valve Esports. Nan Curvis is actually in, sorry, not Lefebvre, and Paul Drady, that's Steve Lefebvre's teammate, Jamie Nan Curvis. Paul Drady sits second, Matthew Raymond, Steve Lefebvre, Gary Wellman, Todd Maxfield, Troy Davison, Kate Donnelly, Brett Campbell up to 9th, and Craig Roffey. As I think that's Nan Curvis leaving the pits, and 129 is Paul Drady. So he's done his stop now, and he goes out behind Jamie Nan Curvis. So he can actually work with JV to get back onto the back of this pack and work their way through. But with Jamie and Paul now exiting the pits, that will hand the lead to the Sim Boys. Those 4 cars that pitted about 20 laps ago, and I said that would give them the opportunity to be at the front when either green flag, pit stop started, or the caution. And we are under caution now. Jamie Nan Curvis apparently has come unstuck somewhere on the course. As we watch him, he leaves the pits there. And we'll just see what's happened with Jamie, because he's only just left the pits. He's back out there. Now, has he done it himself, or has he come together with somebody already on track, is what we're actually trying to find out. And just waiting to see what's happened. I don't know whether he's maybe on cold tyres and he's gotten loose, given the wall a touch-up, but he appears to be fine. I'm not quite sure who else may have actually... there's some smoke there, but I'm not sure what the car is. Smoke all the way around the circuit there at the moment. So somebody definitely had something happen quite untoward, as we see it there. Just trying to find this, and we see the smoke, and I'm looking to see what the car is, and it is Jamie Nan Curvis, I think. It looks like he's come loose and touched the wall. There's Scott Lefebvre who's also out there, but that's the number 8 of Jamie Nan Curvis. It's a single-digit number on the window. So let's just watch and see what may have happened to Jamie as he's crossing the line there. We just go back a little bit. Just have a little bit of trouble finding this. There's Jamie on the inside there on the apron. After something has happened, and he's obviously gotten loose and spun, but having a little bit of trouble actually seeing what happened to him. I'm guessing he's tapped the wall, but we haven't seen it yet. I don't know whether another car's actually gotten in his way. So, very interesting situation there. A little bit hard to see what's actually happened to Jamie following his pit stop. It was with Jamie. It's obvious he's tagged the wall. Not seeing what happened to cause it, though. And he's obviously spun in a cloud of smoke. How much damage he's got, I'm not sure. He's come together with Peter Matson, I'm told. Was Peter Matson that caused it, was it? No, there's Peter in the pits. That car there, that's Steve Lefebvre. The 966 from Everything Simulated. That one. Yeah, no, there it is. Oh, it is Peter Matson's hit the wall. Okay, so we've solved the mystery. Steve Lefebvre's paid the price. Tony Roffey's been involved in it. I don't know how much damage he's got. Tristo might have collected some damage off Steve Lefebvre on the way through, but it looks like it was initiated by Peter Matson, who's tagged the wall and then spun across the track. And there he is right there. He's actually come together with somebody. And I'm just trying to see who that car is. It's James Watson. Watson's given him a tag, jumped down the inside, and that's the problem right there. So James Watson's actually given Peter Matson a tag, jumped down the inside, and they've come together again, and both cars unsettled, and it's created a big chain reaction. Tristo's might be lucky to get away with that on netcode, but otherwise he's going to have a lot of damage on the front of that car. With 3 laps to go, I imagine we are going to go to a green-white checker. We have a single green-white checker, so we need to make it to the white flag lap to see the end of this race undisturbed if there are no more cautions in the next... Well, by the time we actually go to green, we'll probably only have about 1.5 laps. Probably only have a lap under green before we go to white, because the lights are out on the pace truck. Tristo's there, so I'd say the netcode's fallen in his favour, and he's actually managed to get away with no major front damage because he actually T-boned Steve Lefebvre. And I'm seeing a little bit of damage there, but I'd say the netcode might have actually been his best friend on this occasion. As we see the leaders now, Gary Wellman from Todd Maxfield, Troy Davidson, Kate Donnelly, Brett Campbell, who's also benefiting out of that early pit stop at around about the same time as these 4 sim boys. And then we've got Craig Roffey, Nankervis, Malone, Drady and Barber is your top 10 as the pace truck is off, and Gary Wellman's going to lead them away, but his teammates want a piece of this as well. You've got 4 sim boys at the front there, as I think that's Matson coming back out, exiting the pits after maybe doing some quick repairs. He just wants to finish this and pick up some points with 2 laps to go. And I think this time around, I think we might get the white flag as Gary Wellman leads them from Todd Maxfield, Troy Davidson, Kate Donnelly, and Craig Roffey. And we're under caution again. That was involved Richie Sanchez in that one, and I didn't see who it was with. Looks like Rick Vincent. So there's Vincent. I'm looking at Sanchez at the moment. Now, there's a pile up in front of him, and Sanchez has hit the wall. And Paul Drady is into the back of Brett Campbell. Andy Barber was into the wall. And it looks like, well, Richie Sanchez has actually might have even come in contact with Phil Butler there and launched it. Oh, my goodness. What a way to lose a race. Incredible. As we go back to caution, and I think we're going to finish. We are done. That was it. We weren't under white flag, but because I think it was a GWC, it went to caution and then decided that we weren't finished. So the checkered flag is flying. We'll finish here behind the pace truck. Gary Wellman has taken victory in round 4 from, I believe, Troy Davidson, Todd Maxfield, and Cade Donnelly. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Sim Boys, and then Craig Roffey bringing it home 5th, Jamie Nankervis 6th, Adam Malone 7th, Andy Barber 8th, Paul Drady 9th, and James Watson, after all that, manages to bring it home 10th. Phil Butler 11th, Matty Raymond in his first round in 12th, Aidan Schulz 13th, Jared Williams 14th, Rick Vincent 15th, Brett Campbell 16th, James, it's fixed itself up now, and it's got James Watson back in 17th, so that top 10 was incorrect. Noddy Tompkins 18th, Parry Anastakis 19th, Richard Sanchez 20th after that. Richie deserved better than that, but unfortunately it's the way things go sometimes, and he was 2 laps down at the time. Kristen Koch 21st, Peter Matson 22nd, Tony Roffey 23rd, Scott Lefevre 24th, Derek Jacobs 25th, Nigel Payton 26th, Greg Sholton 27th, Matthew Beale 28th. So that is your field. And we've got the boys posing for the photograph. Poser! Simboys team photo. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the line, and they'll be pretty happy with that. So, yep, that'll be tonight's photo. And now they're going to, all 4 of them are going to do a burnout and celebrate the team victory. So, well done, and congratulations to them. We'll take in a little bit of this burnout, and we'll go to an ad break while we actually get our podium upstairs. What a finish. That was a very odd finish. And a bit of an anticlimax, to be honest. Just having that wreck there right at the end. It was actually at the verge where iRacing couldn't decide whether it was a yellow or a white or a green. It was just very strange. And that's basically what's happened there. But it hasn't affected the cars at the front. The 4 Simboys cars, the strategy has been brilliant tonight. They've played this very, very well, and I believe Craig Roffey from Rogue Racing has come home 5th, so he'll be happy to get some points there. Adam Malone, I think, in behind him. So it'll be very interesting to see how the standings line up now as the boys continue. They've lined up against the wall, and they're going to be loving this bit of footage. And they'll be getting themselves a couple of good team photos out of this, I imagine. But we're going to take an ad break and then come back with the podium as we take in our post-race interviews. Stick around, come back, we'll be right here.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
And welcome back. We are at Charlotte for round 4 of the OzOval V8 Supercars Racing Oval Series, brought to you by Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, and streamed through Quasi Esports. And we've done and dusted here, and we've got our front 4, actually. I was going to say the podium, but we've actually got the front 4 cars in here. And first up, Kate Donnelly, 4th place. A good finish for you, buddy. You started first, and with an up and down race and a lot of green flag, very few cautions, you've managed to bring it home 4th, and the only people in front of you were your teammates.
Yeah, mate, bit of a strategy going on. We decided we'd try for the undercut, and it was looking really good, and that last caution sort of threw a spanner in the works, but the fact that it was a green-white checker, we only had to hold on for that lap. So,
and you led 20 laps as well. So yeah, some good points and a good night for you all round, mate.
Yeah, mate, it's been a while.
Well, good to see you back up there, especially after last week. You were actually in a pretty prime position when that incident happened at the pit exit. So I know you weren't too happy with that situation. So good to see you bounce back in this sort of way.
Yeah, cheers, Steve.
And because we've got 4 interviews to do, give us some shout-outs, mate. Who do you want to talk to?
Well, obviously the boys, the Sim boys, Hot Toddy's heating installs and United Electrical, obviously to the league, and for you guys doing the broadcast.
No worries at all. Congratulations on the 4th place there, mate. Some good points in the championship, and we'll see you back next week. I think we're at Indy.
Sounds good, mate.
So we'll see how we go there. And 3rd place, I believe, was Todd Maxfield.
Yay!
Hey, Todd, how are you, buddy?
You're going good, Steve. Yourself, mate?
Not too bad. Started 10th, finished 3rd, led 3 laps, but you were pretty much battling it out in the mix at the front of the field for a big chunk of that tonight. How'd your race go?
Yeah, mate, I was quite happy just sitting in amongst it there, just saving on the fuel and hoping for nothing too dramatic to happen up in front and cause to take us out. But yeah, all in all, come through good in the end. So, and that little strategy we came up with, that it was going to work wonders. But as Cabo just said there, that caution come out and sort of blew that out of the water. But yeah, we held on, so we'll take it.
Yeah. No, look, it was a very, very smart move. Probably the best move you could have made, and it's obviously paid off for you in a big way. Anybody you want to give a shout out to apart from the usual?
Nah, same old, mate. Hot Toddy's heating installs, United Electrical, all the Sim boys. Yeah, you guys for the broadcast, and also to you for the league, Steve.
No worries at all. All right, congratulations, mate. Indy next week. Your thoughts?
Let's hope it's like tonight, eh?
Yeah, I would have expected that. All right, congratulations, Todd Maxfield, 3rd place overall in round 4 at Charlotte, and we'll catch you next week.
Cheers, mate.
All right, we've got Troy Davidson, 2nd place at Charlotte in the OzOval series. A position you're not unfamiliar with, Troy?
Yeah, no, I got to end that pit stop. I apologise to Adam Malone too. I turned him coming into the pits. A few of us got tangled up together, but then I got end of line, so I wasn't sure. I was even thinking at one stage, yeah, I'll be happy with top 10, but yeah, to come home 2nd, mate, I'm pretty stoked on that. And Sim Boys 1, 2, 3, 4, even better.
Yeah, no, yeah, you'll be able to get some pretty good team photos out of that, and obviously the photo for the race report will show the 4 of you coming across the line side by side.
Yeah, it's it. I saved the replay, so I reckon we'll have some fun this week playing around with that. Yeah.
But yeah, started 6th, finished 2nd, led 6 laps, so up 4 positions. A fairly clean one for you tonight too. I don't believe you had a coming together with anybody tonight, did you?
Nah, I did, like I say there before, I half turned Adam Malone, which, yeah, apologies to Adam. coming in the pits. I sort of got caught with the cupboard in front of me under light, under his brakes, and had nowhere to go. So, yeah,
okay.
a bit of a 4 pointer there. But, yeah, other than that, pretty clean race.
No worries then. All right, congratulations, mate. We'll see you at Indy next week.
Yep, looking forward to it, Steve. Cheers.
And our race winner, congratulations, Gary Wellman, started 9th. You took your time. I was a bit curious about your strategy in the first half of the race there for a while, and I even commented on it that we normally see you pushing towards the front no matter where you started. You seemed content to hang back and just see what the rest of the field was going to do for a while there.
Yeah, it was a bit. Stephen, cheers. Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's kind of a track where you can mix a bit of strategy up. I was trying to save some fuel, and I actually didn't change my tyres in that first stop either. I thought if I can stretch that out a bit, and then, yeah, we kind of sort of came together, and we were a bit unsure about being in that big pack. We kind of thought, oh, well, if we undercut here, we might actually check out on the field. So, yeah, pulled in then, got my tyres, and we went for it.
As stated already, it obviously worked well for you. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Sim boys. Yeah, there was obviously a smart thing to do.
Racing isn't easy.
It actually pitted right in front of you. He was leaving the pits as you were entering, and he was almost going to get the same advantage out of it. He was sitting there running 5th and that for a while, but right there on that last incident, he got caught right up in the middle of that, and he dropped a couple of spots, got caught up in that, and that was poor old Brett Campbell, who should have gotten a really good finish out of that. But that's another story and something that'll be looked at post-race. Not very often that you get a chance to go 1, 2, 3, 4 in a series like this, is it, mate?
Yeah, that's it. I think I don't think we've ever had a podium lockout at all before. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is even better again. So yeah, no, we'll definitely make the most out of this one.
Yep, no worries. Your thoughts on going to Indy next week?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We just rock up and have a crack again. Yeah, I think Indy's a fun track though. It's some good drafting opportunity and stuff there, and I'm sure there'll be a bit of strategy coming to that one too. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, being a 2-miler, it'll be good practice for the week after when we go to Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona will be pretty wild, and I reckon we should get over 30 cars. I reckon for that one. It's always a bit of a crowd pleaser, that one, isn't it?
Super speedways usually get more cars, and usually means more chaos.
Yeah, that's it. That's the way they roll, and it's no different from the real thing, that one. So you just got to try and miss the big one, don't you?
No worries then. Look, started 9th, as stated. You finished 1st, obviously. You led 7 laps along the way, and ran a pretty good strategy, and then got together with the boys at the end, and pretty much that sealed the deal. Being able to undercut everybody who had to pit after you, and get all 4 cars home. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the Sim boys. Congrats, Gary, and we'll see you next week at Indy. And there's some handsome points there for you in the championship.
Yeah, that's it. I reckon that'll close the gap to the lead there, because I think he's been pretty consistent podiums every week. So if I can get somewhere near him, I'll be pretty happy. And a couple of us are going all right there. So looking forward to seeing how the rest of it pans out.
No worries at all. Okay then, we'll catch you next week. Thanks very much, Gary Wellman, and the rest of the Sim Boys 4-car podium. And just a bit of a reminder, yes, next week we are going to Indianapolis, and thank you to Everything Simulated, Inside Lane Productions, Quasi Esports, which is what we're streaming through on the YouTube channel. I'd hate to harp on it, but the producer has told me to. So turn on your notifications and turn on subscriptions so you would never miss out on anything that we've got on the channel. Good day to everybody in the socials. And as far as I know, Peter Matson is in there. So unfortunately, mate, yeah, bit of a bummer. It's a heartbreaker, that one. And Sarah Kay, John Simpson, Mick Masters, also in the chat, and Shannon Wright. So thanks for joining us live in the YouTube chat tonight. Thanks for joining us for all of this that's going on with the OzOval series. And as it says on your screen, next race at Indianapolis, and that is going to be an absolute cracker. Indy's a very popular track. I'm expecting a good turnout and some very, very good racing. We saw some brilliant stuff tonight. I expect to see more of it next week. So on behalf of Kobe Jordan, Brent Aberdeen, and myself in the commentary box, thanks very much. We'll catch you next time. Goodbye.